We've got Kelly Clarkson.
You're nothing like me, Alexa. I would never do that to a friend.
Justin Guarini.
My idea of having a good time is being with Kelly.
Song and dance numbers. Hilarious slapstick. And hovercrafts. It's from Justin to Kelly, but is it watchable? Thank you, fake clapping sounds, and welcome everybody to Is It Watchable? I'm your host, Paul. If you like bad romances, bad comedies, and bad musicals, you are in for the movie event of a lifetime. Musicals have been a Hollywood mainstay since talkies killed the silent movie era. From classics like Singing in the Rain, nostalgic favorites like Grease, to Oscar darlings like La La Land. Filmmakers love a good production number, and actors are all too willing to get their song and dance on, whether or not they can actually sing or dance.
Where are those happy days? They seem so hard to find. I try to reach for you, but you have closed your mind.
And it seems no genre has been safe from the musical treatment. There have been comedies, horror movies, political dramas, and even television police shows. Now you'd think that casting actual singers and musicians would be a safe bet, but as the Village Peoples Can't Stop the Music and Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park have shown us, that's not necessarily the case. So letting American Idol winner Kelly Clarkson and runner-up heartthrob Justin Guarini flex their vocal skills in a major motion picture was never a sure thing, but Fox wanted to get while the getting was good, and what we got was so bad. We open on Kelly in a dive bar belting out a country tune. The bar is mostly empty except for her biggest fan Luke, who immediately finds himself friend-zoned.
I'm just not interested in you romantically.
Next, her two friends Alexa and Kaya pop in, and it's quickly established that Kelly is the good girl, Kaya is the smart one, and Alexa is the jerk. They invite her to Fort Lauderdale for spring break. At first she says no, then she says yes. Next we meet the Pennsylvania Posse. Yeah, that's what they call themselves. They're made up of Justin the good boy, Eddie the smart one, and Brandon the jerk. Screenplay template available at your local Walmart. The girls arrive, park directly in front of the hotel, leave their stuff in the truck bed for people to steal, and head for the beach. The Pennsylvania Posse is also trolling the beach, so it's a perfect time for our first musical number, where everybody dances with each other, and with beach balls, and with towels. Afterwards, Eddie, being the smart one and all, is naturally feeling awkward around the ladies, so Brandon raps to help boost his confidence.
You can leave them all Smith names like Honey and Baby and Bonnie and Kitten. You listening? Cause you now are a player.
Then, as if being an asshole isn't enough, he bends down to show Kelly and her friends his actual asshole. This results in him getting a ticket from a hot cop. Later, in their respective hotel rooms, the girls talk about how hot Justin was, while Justin talks about how hot Kelly was.
This one was special, man.
You show her you're hot for her, you'll end up like Cyberboy.
This thing doesn't even have buttons. How am I gonna log on?
And this is how the movie goes for the next hour and 10 minutes or so until Justin and Kelly hook up once and for all and the movie ends in one of those big cliche musical numbers. I mean, I could stop here, but part of the fun of a train wreck is actually watching the crash. So now Justin is looking for Kelly and Kelly's looking for Justin, and when you know it, they wind up at the same party. So cue up the second musical number. Apparently, Justin and his friends are at spring break for their party promotion business. And when Alexa sees that Justin has wristbands to get into one of the hottest parties, she swipes them and is rushed by a stampede of crazy and desperate women. The mob quickly turns to Justin for more bracelets and chases him into the women's bathroom where, wouldn't you know it, Kelly is washing her hands and thanking God she didn't just take a dump. They exchange some adorable rom-com style small talk before she helps him escape out the window.
Call me.
Next, Justin runs into Alexa and explains how he lost Kelly's number. Upset that Justin is interested in her friend and not her, Alexa gives him her number instead of Kelly's. So now, every time Justin sends Kelly a text, Alexa receives it and her evil plan is set into motion. So now Kelly is bummed that Justin isn't contacting her while Alexa is relishing in her friend's disappointment. And Justin is bummed because he thinks Kelly isn't interested. But back then, real men didn't take no for an answer, so he asked Kelly to meet him at the marina. Frustrated that Justin is still hot for Kelly, Alexa takes Kelly to a whipped cream bikini contest put on by Justin's party company. Kelly is appalled that Justin would be involved in such a sexist activity and storms off to eat a hamburger. But Justin, still not taking no for an answer, tracks her down to explain himself.
Try the hot sauce. Oh, I'm sorry.
Next, Brandon gets a ticket from the same hot cop for not having an event permit for the whipped cream bikini contest. So now it's time for the big day at the marina, where apparently boating means wearing all white and romantically not looking at each other while you sing the movie's third musical number. The next day, Brandon and Eddie run into a guy who's upset that he wasn't let into one of their parties. The guy chases Brandon, causing him to crash into a souvenir display, so the hot cop shows up to give him another ticket. Kelly and Justin have plans to meet up at the beach, but Alexa sends Justin a text, posing as Kelly, remember, and says to meet at a place called the Pearl instead. Later at the Pearl, which looks less like a restaurant and more like a meeting room for the Jedi Council, Alexa waits for Justin. But she can't just wait quietly like a normal person, so she gives us the movie's fourth musical number.
Girl who stays at home alone, no baby needs.
When Justin finally does show, Alexa is unable to redirect his affection her way, so she lies and tells him that Kelly has a boyfriend. Meanwhile, Kelly thinks she's been stood up at the beach, and Kaya suggests that perhaps she'd have more luck if she toned down her good girl image a bit. She does exactly that by showing up the next day to a party with her hair up, her midriff showing, and wearing a skirt made of neckties, all while belting out the movie's fifth song. After the impromptu show, Luke from back home shows up posing as Kelly's boyfriend. Justin and Luke get into some shovesies, and before you can roll your eyes for the 87th time, they're on hovercrafts. Apparently, the screenwriter was too lazy to write dialogue for Kelly where she would, talk to Luke and ask what he was doing there. And then have a separate conversation with Justin to explain that Luke really isn't her boyfriend and to ask him where he was the night before. Guess they thought hovercrafts would be more fun. And you know what? They were right. It's like an episode of Fear Factor. They have to ride around on hovercrafts while throwing balls into laundry baskets in the other person's hovercraft. Then they crash and Luke falls softly into the water while wearing a helmet, but somehow still has a giant gash on his head. When he's finally released from beach hospital, he tells Kelly that Alexa told him to come, and Kelly tells him that he'll be trapped in the friend zone forever. Later, Justin seeks Kelly's advice for winning Kelly back, but instead Alexa puts the moves on him all while Kelly watches from a distance. That night, Kelly and Justin wind up at the same bar, of course, and Justin chases her out into the street.
I have nothing to say to you.
Why are you being like this?
What am I supposed to be like after what you've done?
When Kelly returns to the bar, Alexa accidentally knocks her phone off the table and Kelly picks it up. Kelly sees all the texts that were sent between Justin and Alexa, posing as Kelly, and storms out. To show us how sad she is, Kelly goes down to the waterfront and croons a sweet, sweet ballad, and the movie's sixth musical number. She's not alone for long, however, because Justin shows up with Alexa, who, because movie logic, is suddenly a nice person because she told Justin everything. Now, Kelly and Justin can finally embrace and share a zero chemistry kiss under the moonlight. But before I wrap this thing up, I should mention that there are a couple subplots that have no impact on the movie whatsoever. In addition to that stupid hot cop storyline with Brandon, he eventually winds up with a hot cop, by the way. There's a whole thing with Eddie, who is supposed to be meeting up with the girl he met online. They keep narrowly missing each other until conveniently hooking up at the end. Then there's Kaya, who falls for a dishwasher at a restaurant. He takes her to a secret club where we get another musical number, bringing her a total to 7. She accidentally gets him fired, he gets mad, he gets another job, they make up. That's it. So everyone has someone except for Alexa, but really she should be more concerned about a ride home. And we get a big Kids Bop-like rendition of That's the Way I Like It for our 8th and thankfully last musical number. As Randy Jackson might say, not feeling it, dog. Of course, Clarkson and Guarini were the winner and runner-up respectively of the very first season of American Idol, way back in 2002. If you were old enough to remember, then you remember what a cultural phenomenon it was, and when it was over, Fox understandably wanted to squeeze everything they could out of it. So in addition to a 30-city US tour featuring the top 10 contestants from that season, we also got this mess. The film wasn't well received by anyone. Moviegoers hated it or stayed away altogether. By the time the film was pulled from theaters, it hadn't even grossed $5 million domestically. And if the target audience of teeny boppers didn't give it any love, you know the critics didn't. The songs were panned, the plot was panned, and the chemistry or lack thereof between Kelly and Justin was panned. The film currently holds a measly 10% on Rotten Tomatoes and was nominated for 9 Golden Raspberry Awards, winning 1 for Distinguished Underachievement in Choreography. Now, I think we all know how Kelly Clarkson's career went. I mean, she's a superstar, so I'd be hard-pressed to tell you something about her that you don't already know. But Justin Guarini? I'm sure lots of people have Googled him wondering what he's been up to, and if you haven't, you'd be surprised to know that he's actually been pretty busy. He's put out some albums, he's done some Broadway, he's hosted some television shows, and you might even remember him from this series of commercials.
Look me coming out of the deep end totally dry.
Take this.
Mama, give your lungs a breather. Those tired lips deserve something sweeter. A Diet Dr. Pepper.
Ooh.
He got some flack for being a pretty boy, but he's a multi-talented guy. I mean, even in this eyeball assault, he holds his own as an actor and he looks pretty comfortable on screen, which can't really be said for Kelly Clarkson, but that's okay because girl can sing. So from Justin to Kelly, Is it watchable? I was really hoping for some good laughs at the expense of the filmmakers with this one, but alas, it was not to be. The plot, what there is of it, is boring and predictable, and even with 8 musical numbers scattered throughout its felt 1 hour and 17-minute runtime, it's padded to within an inch of its life. Really, there's barely a movie in there at all, and what there is television quality. Think Disney Channel movie, but not even as good. In fact, ditch the songs not sung by Justin or Kelly and remove the subplots not involving Justin and Kelly, and you've got a much better hour-long, with commercials, American Idol television special. And speaking of songs, the musical parts might have been enough to overlook the stuff in between, especially since the goal must have been to showcase Clarkson and Guarini's vocal skills. But nope. Unlike, say, Grease, where you'll have summer nights in your head for days, there isn't a single earworm in this thing. And lastly, if you're looking for a so bad it's good movie, this ain't it. If you want the same experience without sitting through nearly an hour and a half, just go to the mall, walk about 10 feet into packed sun, turn around, and leave. Seriously, same thing, but way more exciting. Well, thank God that's over. Join me next time for some Yuletide cheer where I cozy up with some eggnog and check out Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. And do me a favor, subscribe.